The fans have spoken. Phase 2 of the MLB All-Star voting is upon us, and I'm here to help you fill out your ballot. Hello, my name is Avery Taylor, I make sports content, and let's get right into it. To start out, Shohei Ohtani from the AL and Ronald Acuna Jr. from the NL are the leading vote getters, meaning they locked their spots on the starting rosters. Starting off with a tough one at catcher, we have Jonah Heim of the Texas Rangers and Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles. Offensively, Heim has a bit of an advantage in the power department, while Adley is more likely to get on base. Defensively, the two are very comparable as well. So for me, the vote came down to the raw impact on each player's baseball team. When I think of the Rangers, I know that they would still be successful without Heim. But the Orioles turned into a winning ball club the second Rutschman broke into the majors last season, and that factored into my decision as well to take the catcher from Baltimore. And in the National League, we have a very similar battle brewing between Sean Murphy and Will Smith of the Dodgers. They have very comparable stats whenever you look at the baseline numbers. But whenever you dive a bit deeper, you understand that Sean Murphy is just outright having a better year, especially behind the dish. The thing that holds Murphy back in terms of the counting stats is the fact he missed a couple of weeks due to injury. But with his return, I am going to go ahead and throw Sean Murphy onto the All-Star team. At first base in the National League, we have another Dodgers-Braves matchup with Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson. Freddie Freeman, I think, is undoubtedly having the better season if you look at anything past home runs. While Matt Olson does have 25 of them, I don't know if it's enough to push him past Freddie Freeman and the season that he's having. At first base in the American League, it's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. Yandy Diaz is just having a great season, and while I don't want to take anything from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., it's just not on the same level. I think it's a similar thing if you look at second base in the American League. Marcus Stroman is having a great year, and I don't want to take anything away from Whit Merrifield, but they're just kind of not on the same level. At second base, I think it's interesting to see the contrast of players that you have at second base, but I think I'd be a fool to not put Luis Arias, at least this time. Possibly the biggest storyline in MLB for the first 2 weeks of the season? Nah, let's add Nolan Gorman. At third base, I'm going to be disappointed to lock kind of either of these players in. I don't think that they should necessarily be on this list, but just due to the voting, this is where we are. Nolan Arenado currently sits at 15 homers, 50 RBIs, 786 OPS. A lot of people think of him as this defensive wizard, but this season, that defense has kind of gone by the wayside. If you look at Austin Riley, however, nobody expects him to be a defensive wizard, but he's putting up relatively similar numbers from the offensive side. I guess whenever you put it into perspective, Nolan Arenado is having a slightly better offensive season somehow, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Arenado. At third base in the American League, if you just look at these stats that they give you, you're going to think Josh Jung is the clear and away favorite. But if you know about baseball this season, you know that Matt Chapman is having a great season. He has a 2.9 WAR and is really just kind of outdoing Jung in a lot of categories. Whenever you think about Chapman, you know he's a great defender, and he actually has a better OPS plus despite what these numbers say. So with all that in mind, I'm going with Chapman. At shortstop, I'm actually going to go against the grain of what I kind of believe in and take Corey Seager. Even though he missed nearly a month of the season, Corey Seager has put up some of the exact same counting numbers that you see from Bo Bichette. And he, from a per-rate basis, is considerably better from the shortstop position so far this season. In the National League, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Orlando Arcia is the shortstop starting, in my opinion. While Francisco Lindor gives you a bigger name, I don't think he's necessarily deserving of the spot. Yes, the 15 home runs looks pretty, but Orlando Arcia has been overall having a better season top to bottom. I think in the outfield, it's relatively simple who you should choose. In the National League, you kind of have to pick Mookie Betts and Corbin Carroll. No disrespect to Lourdes Gurriel, and I don't know how Michael Harris II is here, but they're just not on the same level that Betts and Carroll have been so far this season. On the American League side of things, it's just a matter of just who's healthy. Jordan Alvarez and Aaron Judge have not played in weeks, and that just leaves Randy Arozarena and Mike Trout to be kind of shoo-ins for the game. That leaves Adolis Garcia and Kevin Kiermaier. While it does look like from the stats they give you that Kevin Kiermaier is the clear outlier, I do think there's more of a case for him. Kevin Kiermaier is arguably the best outfielder in the MLB defensively and is actually having an above-average season offensively at a 116 OPS plus. Adolis Garcia is definitely not anywhere close, but the counting stats favor him. I think with Randy Arozarena accompanying him, I think it would just be smarter to have Kevin Kiermaier in center field, move Mike Trout to left or right, and then have Randy in that final slot. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and take Kevin Kiermaier against all of my preseason notions about the player. And finally, we have the DH spot. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani already slid into that American League role, so it's just between Bryce Harper and JD Martinez. I'm not going to do what I did earlier, and I'm going to take the guy who's been doing it all season long, and that is JD Martinez from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He has 16 home runs, 48 RBIs, 856 OPS, somehow has a less WAR than Bryce Harper, even though he's been playing the whole season, has better stats across the board. Like, I don't really understand that, but he has been having a great year, a great redemption arc here in Los Angeles. I'm happy they found his old ways in Los Angeles. Let me know what you guys think down below, what my biggest misses were, what were my best takes, who you guys have in the All-Star game, and as always, hope you guys enjoyed.